Well, our Friday evening viewing continues in a moment with Granada Tonight, which includes highlights from our arts festival in Celebration 91. Then we've a programme change in place of Through the Keyhole in response to Mrs Thatcher's decision today to step down as MP at the next election. We present Margaret Thatcher, My Final Days in Downing Street. Coronation Street to follow, and then Jason Donovan stars in our movie Heroes. Reporting now in the northwest, this is Granada Tonight.
Good evening. Tonight, 5 planes fly into the northwest as the airlift out of Yugoslavia continues. We talk to holidaymakers who've arrived home.
Also tonight, Neil Kinnock runs the gauntlet of hard left supporters as his councillors enforce redundancies.
Angela Hewitt looks forward to a world premiere in Liverpool as Paul McCartney comes home.
And John Moulson meets the dancers who stole the show in today's Celebration Festival. All that, plus the weekly update from our regional news centres and the weekend weather outlook from Fred.
It's Friday, it's the last one in June and the weather has been awful. The sun is shining on me now. Will it get better?
It's mounting as the city awaits a world premiere, no less. So now let's join Lucy up there. Lucy.
Thanks very much, Bob. Yes, that world premiere gets underway in just under an hour's time over there at the Anglican Cathedral. The man behind it all is Paul McCartney. It's his first venture into classical music in a work largely inspired by his early years here in the city. His Liverpool Oratorio, as it's called, features some of the biggest names from the world of opera and classical music. Our reporter Angela Hewitt has been looking at the preparations throughout the day and talking to the man himself.
Within these walls there have been classical concerts in the past, but more often Mahler, never McCartney. Tonight is certainly going to be a unique experience.
Paul McCartney's journey into oratorio writing has attracted attention worldwide. There are journalists here from throughout Europe, but also Canada, America, Australia and Japan.
There's quite an international feel about the whole production, with Kiri Takanawa from New Zealand and Jerry Hadley from America. He plays the character Shanti, who represents Paul.
I had this profound sense, even though I only met Paul in October, and certainly they've been working on this piece for 18 months prior to that, that somehow he had me in mind when he wrote it, because the part, from a technical standpoint, fits me like a glove, but also the words that he has given me to sing speak to my life as well.
I wanted to kind of get like a distinctive name, so I was looking for a distinctive name with a kind of Liverpool ring to it. And I thought of shanty as being like a sea shanty and also an old shanty town, you know. And in fact, one of the choir boys was telling me the other day, one of the lads is called Shanty. Hey, Shanty! You know, it's very Liverpool.
It was actually Carl Davis's idea to involve Paul McCartney in the writing of a piece for the Philharmonic's 150th anniversary. And though they both come from different musical backgrounds, they say they formed their own kind of working relationship.
We started by working separately. I would take something home and flesh it out, and then that was in the initial stages. We both found that rather unsatisfactory, so that we really did write it all together in the room.
Carl would occasionally, try and sort of say, he said, "Let me give you a little lesson." And depending on what mood I was in, sometimes I'd say, "No, Carl, we won't do that," because it felt too much like a student. But occasionally, if I was in a sort of receptive mood, I'd say, "OK, go on."
And whilst the finishing touches were being made to the stage for tonight's performance, Paul McCartney was busy on another project, with the Inner Cities Minister Michael Portillo trying to get government help for his dream to turn his old school into a specialist drama and music school. And there he revealed he has yet more ambitions.
I might even go for a degree. We're thinking of having a degree which involves music in the community. I said, well, I'm up for that. I might finally get letters after my name.
Angela Hewitt on Paul McCartney's Liverpool homecoming. Well, the city may be playing host to one of its most established stars, but there's also A lot of new talent been around this week at Granada's Celebration Festival, not a million miles or a million inches from here. John Molson's been our reporter there this week. Any new discoveries, John?
Bob, a lot of new discoveries and an awful lot of talent, and not just from Liverpool, but right from across the northwest.
Were you there when the man fell off the tightrope into the water?
That's something I'll be able to tell my grandchildren, Bob. I was there when not the tightrope walker, but the tightrope walker's friend fell off the straight.